Dear students, to simplify our learning, once let us go through the structures of active voice, tense voice and its passive form. Right? So keep in your mind and have a lot of concentration to guess and to understand the structure. Until you know the structures and keep them at the tip of your fingers, you cannot transform a sentence from active voice to passive voice. Right? So just before we have seen a few examples, tense structure voice. In the same way, let us go through its structure and its passive form. Right? It will help you out to transform very easily. Simple present tense. Its active structure is subject plus, verb form 1 plus. If it is third person singular, he, she, it, we add es or es to the main verb. Subject plus, v1 plus object. Right? He writes a letter. Already we have seen this example. A letter, object, object of the active voice becomes subject of the passive voice. That's what I have written here, subject directly. So subject plus am is or plus V3 plus object. V3 plus by phrase. I mean by prepositional phrase. The words follow after that. So he, a letter. What we have seen here, he writes a letter. A letter is singular. This verb takes according to the subject. If it is a singular subject, takes singular verb. If it is plural subject, takes plural verb form. So he writes a letter. A letter is written, past participle, written by him. Right? So present continuous tense structure is subject plus, am, is, or plus, V4 plus. V4 means what? Root verb. V1 plus ing. V4 plus object. He is writing a letter. He is writing a letter. A letter is being written by him. Prepositional phrase. Therefore, subject plus, am is, are plus, being plus, V3 plus, object. So keep in your mind this structure, my dear students. Present perfect tense. Present perfect tense structure is subject plus, has or have. Has or have plus, V3 plus, object. He has written a letter. A letter has been written by him. Therefore, passive voice structure is subject plus, has or have plus, been plus, V3 plus, prepositional phrase by phrase. Right? Now coming to the present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense structure is subject plus, has or have plus, been plus, V4 plus, object. He has been writing a letter. He has been writing a letter. This tense has no passive structure. This tense has no passive structure. Right? So then coming to the simple past tense. Simple past tense structure is subject plus, V2 plus, past form of the verb, V2 plus, object. He wrote a letter. He wrote a letter. A letter was, letter is singular, that's why we are taking singular verb. Letters means we may take plural also. A letter was written by him. So therefore passive structure is subject plus, was or were plus, verb form 3 plus, object, past participle. Alright. So then coming to the past continuous tense. Past continuous tense structure is subject plus, was or were plus, before plus object. For example, he was writing a letter. He was writing a letter. A letter was being written by him. Therefore, passive structure is subject plus was or verb plus being plus B3 plus by phrase, prepositional phrase. So then, coming into the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense structure is subject plus had plus B3 plus object. He had written a letter. He had written a letter. A letter had been written by him. So therefore, passive structure is subject plus had plus been plus B3 plus by phrase or prepositional phrase. Past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense structure is subject plus had been plus before plus object. For example, he had been writing a letter. He had been writing a letter. Right? It has no passive structure. It has no passive form. Alright? And coming into the simple future tense. Simple future tense. Its structure, active structure is subject plus will or shall plus V1 plus object. Once again, subject plus will or shall plus V1 plus object. Example, he will write a letter. He will write a letter. A letter will be written by him. A letter will be written by him. Therefore, passive structure is subject plus will or shall plus be plus B3 plus by phrase, prepositional phrase. And coming to the future continuous tense. Future continuous tense structure is subject plus will be or shall be. Will be or shall be plus before plus object. Example, let us see. He will be writing a letter. He will be writing a letter. He will be writing a letter. It has no passive structure. I mean no passive form. Why? Be form is present already. And coming to the future perfect tense. Future perfect tense structure is subject plus will have or shall have. Will have or shall have plus V3 plus object. So therefore, example is he will have written a letter. He will have written a letter. So therefore, its passive structure is a letter will have been. A letter will have been written by him. Therefore, in passive structure, subject plus will or shall plus have plus been plus B3 plus by phrase. And next one, future perfect continuous tense. Future perfect continuous tense structure is subject plus will have been or shall have been. Will have been or shall have been plus before plus object. It has no passive structure. Example, he will have been writing a letter. He will have been writing a letter. So my dear student, take this table, write down in your notebook, try to comprehend, try to understand. If you observe, I have taken throughout the structures only one example. He writes a letter. That only I have gone through all the tenses. It is simply to make you to understand. First of all, you should get into the structure. You should get into the use of changes. Only then different types of sentences you will be able to change from active voice to passive voice. Keep in your mind, active voice will much important to the doer of the action. Passive voice will give much important to the receiver of the action. Receiver of the action. So now we will come forward with so many types of examples, such kind of affirmative sentences, interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, double objective sentences, and so on. Up to then, keep learning all these tenses and their structures, their active structure and passive structure. Take note of it. Surely it will help you in future too. Not only now in your classes, but in some competitive exams also, it is most important for you, my dear students. Take these structures, learn them by heart if it is possible. First, I want you to learn to understand, have comprehensive understanding, and learn the structures properly. Keep at the tip of your fingers. Then surely you will come out with a good grammatical sense to speak in a proper manner. So, learn the structures properly. It is most important thing.